Well, Cheltenham is nearly here. In the last of our anti-post instalments, we're analysing the handicaps. It's, of course, Nick Watson, Graham Rodway joining me. Nick, we're at loggerheads in the JLT Speciality Handicap, where I cannot see how Hold On Julio gets beaten with a clear round here. He's unbeaten under rules. However, top weight quantitative easing, you believe, can pip him?
Yeah, I do. He's not the typical horse you'd suggest for this race, because normally they're lower weighted, and obviously after we've seen the entries come out, he's going to have to carry top weight. That's not ideal because he's not the biggest horse in the world, but on the other hand I think he's got a lot of class. I don't think he's far off graded potential, this horse. I certainly see him contesting graded races next season. He's got a fantastic record at Cheltenham, proven at the festival, second in the race last year, won by Divers. Then he came out this season, second behind Great Endeavour in the Paddy Power. Went one better next month, beat Medamy, who is a very good yardstick. Obviously won some very solid races this season. That was a good race. I mean, even further behind you had horses like Calgary Bay, Tapman, who've won good races since. So I think it was strong. And you just look at the way he won that day. He was out with a washing for most of the race and really being scrubbed along out of his comfort zone. The only thing that got him into it was A, bit of tenacity on the part of the horse, and B, that they died up the hill, because I think they'd gone off quite quickly during the race and enabled his stamina to kick in, and he passed through Doudeville and Medamy on the run to the line. That strongly suggests to me that he's going to be even better over 3 miles. Tried 3.5 in the Irish National last season, didn't quite get home, but if you'd stopped at the race at the 3 mile mark, he was still travelling very well, so I don't think stamina will be an issue at all. They have entered him in the Grand National this year, and he needs to finish in the first 4 to even qualify for that. He hasn't done so yet. And I think, although he has got top weight, he's got top weight for a reason, and that's because I think he's a very, very classy and improving handicapper who will be a graded horse next season. And unusually for this race, you kind of look down the list and try and pick something out. You may be 16, 20 to 1 that might be well handicapped. I don't fancy many in this race at bigger prices. I think this is a race. I don't dismiss your Hold On Julio, but out of the two for quantitative easing.
Okay, there we go then. So look out for Hold On Julio and quantitative easing in that one. My best long shot for the festival comes in the Pulteney, the last race on day one. We'll look out for White Star Line of Desi Hughes. He wants good ground. He runs off 1.35, and considering he got within 2 lengths of First Lieutenant and Sir Deschamps looking back through his form, I think he could be a handicap good thing. So moving on to the Wednesday, then Nick, we'll continue with you and Tuna Dudari.
Yeah.
I've nearly got it.
I know, I'm choosing all these horses that are so, difficult to pronounce.
You are testing my linguistic skills, but you think he's got big claims in the Coral Cup?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's a fiendishly difficult puzzle, but he's been backed for it in recent weeks. This is going to be the target if he can sneak in at the bottom, which hopefully he'll be able to, but you get your money back if he does get balloted out. And of course we're non-runner, no bet now anyway. Tona Dudery's graded winner as a juvenile. Comes in the Carlito Briganti won for the same connections last season, Gordon Elliott, Gigginstown. He's got a similar profile, not as good as Carlito Briganti over hurdles, but was a graded winner. And very, very strongly punted for a 3 mile Pertemps qualifier at Leopardstown over Christmas, which is normally a good race. Huge amounts of money for him. He was sent off 7-2 favourite that day from quite a big starting price in the morning. And ran a really eye-catching race. He travelled superbly, but didn't quite get home. And so I think that's obviously the reason why they're targeting the Coral Cup, because they're bringing him back to 2.5. He's quite well handicapped. I think he's on a mark of 1.37. I think he might be better than that. And I think the strongly run 2 mile 5 might be his perfect trip.
I'm flying the solo flag for the Thursday handicaps. Nothing original at all, but I think the combination of AP McCoy, Ferdy Murphy and good ground should see Divas go in and win the Byrne Group Cleve Plate there.
The worry with Divas, right, Ted, just to butt in, is
I thought you'd been a bit quiet.
I'm a little bit worried about the McCoy booking, right? I know that it seems a bit ridiculous to say, well, is McCoy a positive? But Divas is the sort of horse who's quite a quiet ride. He needs to be held up at the back, and he really, I don't think, is a McCoy ride. I think the fact that Graham Lee, who's injured, is not able to take the ride here is actually a significant negative for Divas. I can see all the arguments about being well handicapped and stuff like that, but I'm just a little bit worried about the McCoy booking, Ted. What do you think?
No, not at all. That's why I've backed him. So I'll leave you to be worried, but no, an interesting perspective nonetheless. I can definitely see the angle you're coming from with that one there then. Going on to the Friday, and well, we've got bets galore going on here. Where shall we start? We'll start with you, G-Rod. Now you've warmed up, and in the County Hurdle, Jessica Harrington's form of stables peaked at the right time, and Citizenship you think can go well?
Yeah, I think Citizenship won nicely at Leopardstown last time for an horse that was having, well, it was very lightly raced over hurdles for sure. Quickened up really well in the start of a good horse, come from a long way off the pace. There was a massive field, about 30 runners in that race, very similar race to the County Hurdle. They went really fast pace and picked them off nicely towards the finish. Just Citizenship reminds me a bit of Max Joy, who Jessica Harrington trained to win a couple of handicap hurdles before Max Joy went on to become a real top class hurdler. And I really do think that Citizenship's got the potential to make up into a graded performer in time. So hopefully he can take the County Hurdle. Okay,
so Citizenship in that one. After the Gold Cup, after the Lord Mayor shows, they say, but the Martin Pipe Conditionals, now John Ferguson's been a trainer who has been making a lot of people sit up and take note. I think he's operating around a 35% strike rate this season. And Cape Dutch finished second over course of distance earlier on in the season, but you think he can go one better in this one?
Well, yeah, it was actually when he ran at Cheltenham earlier in the season, it was over 2 mile 1 furlong.
Oh, was it?
And this has gone slightly up in trip here, but that's a big positive for him. I thought it was quite interesting. John Ferguson's retained rider is Jack Quinlan, who is a conditional. And obviously, I'm sure John Ferguson would have had this race in mind for quite a while for Cape Dutch, knowing that he can get his conditional rider in there with the added £3 claim because he'll be riding for his retained stable. And Cape Dutch won nicely over 2 mile 4 furlongs, then dropped back to 2 mile 1 furlongs, finished second at Cheltenham. But then really improved again for the step back up to 2 mile 4 furlongs at Musselburgh when it needed to win last time, otherwise it wouldn't have got in this race. Whereas that win just takes it up enough in the weights to get it in nicely in this race. Just think it was quite interesting that John Ferguson dropped it back down to 2 mile 1 furlongs to give it a look round this course, but then stepped back up to 2 mile 4 furlongs to make sure he got the win in. There's no doubt that 2 mile 4 furlongs is the trip. The 2 mile 5 furlong would be absolutely ideal for it. I just think it's a bit of a handicap plot. Okay, great stuff then. And if you're in dire straits, which I'm sure some of us will be, approaching the last race, Nick, you've got a get out of jail clause here. Last year's winner, Oiseau de Nuit, there we go, got that one right. You think you can go in again?
Yeah, I mean, quite often at Cheltenham, previous form works out really well. We see repeat winners quite a lot. And Albertus run, of course. And there was another one last year, his name escapes me, but...
Sizing Europe.
Sizing Europe, yeah. There we go. I don't know if you forgot your favourite horse, G-Rob. I'm not going to figure that one out, so come on. But no, Oiseau de Nuit, he's off a £7 higher mark this year, which I don't think is insurmountable by any means. I thought he ran one of the races of his life at Kempton in the Desert Orchid Chase when he was pitching in against Finian's Rainbow and Wishful Thinking, who were both going to be taking part in the Queen Mother earlier in the week. And a good run from either of those. Finian's Rainbow possibly the more likely, I think, to run big race. Would show the form in a very good light, and I think Colin Tizard was probably thinking for quite a while about even letting Oiseau de Nuit take his chance in the Queen Mother, because he gave him he let him run in the Victor Chandler, for example. Didn't cut much ice there, and he's obviously decided to scale back and go for the easier option. But the way he won this race last season, he won it in fantastic style. He was the winner from quite some way out, and he bounded up the hill. And I think this time of year on good ground, it absolutely suits him down to the ground, and I wouldn't surprise me at all to see a repeat win for him. Okay, then if I had to quickly push you then, lads, for your best handicap bet, Nick, who would it be? It's got to be quantitative easing. I think I said that right. Okay then, and G-Rod? I really like quantitative easing, just like Watsy, but I mean, Cape Dutch is going to be a good price. He's going to be the value bet of the week, I think, in the handicaps. Okay, hold on, Julio's unbeaten under rules, and I'm going to have to go with him. So I hope that's been of some help to you, and have a thoroughly enjoyable Cheltenham Festival, and see you again soon.